Let's start with a fun little truth the medical industrial complex loves to ignore. The age signified by your birth certificate is a lie. Well, it's a chronological fact, but biologically, it's completely irrelevant. Your conventional doctor looks at your date of birth, matches it to a standard pharmaceutical checklist, and tells you you're aging normally. Normally? Since when did sliding into chronic fatigue, brain fog, and muscle loss become the accepted baseline or norm? The standard insurance-driven medical model doesn't want you tracking your biological age. Why would they? There's no money in a robust, self-optimizing human. The real cash flows when you slowly decay on schedule, buying into their lifetime subscription model of symptom masking pills. True age reversal requires looking past the birth certificate and measuring how fast your cells are actually ticking. But once you start tracking bio-age via DNA methylation clocks or advanced blood biomarkers, a practical question arises. How often should you actually test? To answer that, we have to look at the root causes of cellular decline through a progressive lens, the 5Ms framework. Conventional medicine treats the body like a collection of isolated parts. Send him to the cardiologist for the plumbing, the endocrinologist for the hormones. It's brilliant for billing, but terrible for healing. To accurately gauge your biological age, we must look at 5 interconnected pillars of cellular integrity, and your testing frequency should directly match how long it takes to move the needle on each one. The first pillar is microvascular health, the microscopic capillaries delivering oxygen to your brain, skin, and organs. While your major arteries get all the press, aging happens at this capillary level. When microcirculation fails, tissue dies. You can shift this with high-intensity interval training, nitric oxide precursors, and hyperbaric oxygen. But because capillary and endothelial structures take time to remodel, testing these markers every 6 to 12 months is ideal. Next is mitochondrial efficiency, your cellular power plants. Aging is, fundamentally, a slow loss of cellular energy. And if your engines are sputtering, your biological age will skyrocket. While mitochondrial function can respond rapidly to lifestyle changes like CoQ10 supplementation, zone 2 cardio, cold exposure, and periodic fasting, these systemic shifts tend to stabilize around the 6-month mark, making that the sweet spot for evaluation. The third pillar is metabolic balance, your day-to-day biochemical reality. This includes your fasting insulin, HbA1c, and lipid subfractions. Not the useless total cholesterol your doctor panics over, but advanced metrics like ApoB and inflammatory markers like HSCRP. Because diet, carbohydrate control, and resistance training can alter these metabolic markers in a matter of weeks, you can test this pillar every 3 to 6 months if you are actively correcting a deficit. Then we have metabolic reserve, your physiological buffer. Balance is how you look sitting on the couch. Reserve is how your body handles a crisis, like an immune challenge or a massive physical stressor. It is heavily dictated by muscle mass, your metabolic sync, and autonomic resilience via heart rate variability. Building these structural reserves through progressive overload strength training and amino acid optimization takes time, meaning you only need to check these metrics every 6 to 12 months. Finally, there is membrane health, the gatekeepers of your cells. Every cell in your body is enclosed by a lipid bilayer. If your cell membranes are stiff, clogged with trans fats, or depleted of essential phospholipids, nutrients can't get in and waste can't get out. You are literally suffocating your cells from the outside. You can optimize this with high-dose omega-3s and by eliminating industrial seed oils, but because red blood cell fatty acid profiles reflect a 120-day lifespan, testing more than twice a year is a waste of money. Stick to a 6-month window. Testing your biological age every single month is just a symptom of health anxiety, likely fueled by tech bro longevity influencers trying to sell you another green powder. On the flip side, testing once a decade is an open invitation for chronic disease to ambush you. If you are in an aggressive optimization phase, meaning you are actively trying to reverse a high biological age, you should test every 3 to 6 months, focusing heavily on metabolic balance and mitochondrial markers to ensure your interventions are working. If you are simply in a cruising and maintenance phase where your health is locked in and you are just monitoring trends, a comprehensive 5 pillars deep dive once every 12 months is perfectly sufficient. When your lab report says your markers are in the normal range, remember that the normal range is calculated from the average person walking into a commercial lab. The range is huge as it covers 2 standard deviations from the mean of all people tested at that lab, which means that 95% of all the people tested fall in that range. The average person is overweight, inflamed, and exhausted, so falling in the same range as them is not ideal. Do not settle for normal. Aim for optimal. Ignore the pharmaceutical salesmen disguised as wellness authorities and test just enough to hold your lifestyle accountable. If you'd like guidance and coaching to optimize your 5Ms, overall health and health span, reach out to us to schedule a consultation. Telehealth available. We use nutrition, peptides, hormones, exercise, and a variety of progressive therapies to help test and lower your biological age. Call 9418-065-511 or email us at info@rtc.health.